today using the biblical model of Jonathan and David. So we're excited about talking about friendship and ultimately learning about our friendship with Christ. Glad you're here today. I don't like summer. Summer is awful because everybody goes away. Pastor Shane sent out a thing yesterday about all the people who are substituting and all the people who aren't going to be. I'm like, oh my goodness, once again, I still think people ought to clear through the church before they leave for vacation. And we ought to just take 2 Sundays and we all go away with a shutout. I don't know. But it's just been good. It doesn't matter the number of people that are in the house. It's just that we're family and we get to be here together today. And I'm praying that no matter how many are here this morning, we all can walk away saying it was good to be in God's house. That's my prayer today. And we're still excited, friends, about what's coming this fall as we look at going to 2 services. Again, over 500 people call Oakwood their home, and it might not look like it during the summer, but we need to make place. There's only room for 360 in here, and so we're getting excited about this transition to 2 services. During the fireside chat, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, what your role is going to be in that whole transition moving forward. But we want to thank you for being here this morning and welcome you to Oakwood. If you're visiting with us, special welcome to Oakwood. We love visitors, whether you're traveling from afar or whether you're here with family or just checking us out today. If you don't have a church home of your own, we encourage you to check out Oakwood. We're growing a great family here, grounded in faith, guided by grace, going in love. And if you don't have a church home of your own, you live nearby, think about making us your place. We'd love to have you. Just to let you know how much we appreciate visitors, if you're visiting with us for the first time, we have a gift for you out of the counter. All you need to do is fill out the insert tab in the bulletin, the program you were handed as you came in. Fill that out, turn that in. Somebody will hand you this wonderful bag. It's got a beautiful Oakwood mug full of chocolate and goodies. So we just do that to thank you for being here with us. 2 things I want to talk about. I already forgot the one. I know one's baptism. House of Providence. There you go. Thank you, Shane. House of Providence. This Thursday is another one of those meetings where Oxford has their commission that meets. And this Thursday is another one of those meetings where Jay and Maggie Dunn are inviting Oakwood to be a part of that. We sent out an email this week, especially if you're an Oxford resident. They would love you to be in attendance. Now, you don't have to be an Oxford resident to be in attendance, but you definitely can't get up and say anything unless you're an Oxford resident. And I just want to cover that because I know we had a meeting. I couldn't be there because I was traveling. There was another meeting we had a while back, and a lot of people came back to that meeting saying, PD, we didn't know what to do. We went, we didn't know what to do. What do we need to do? Let me just tell you, relax, don't do anything. Just show up. Show up. Everybody say show up. Show up. All we're doing is being there as a show of support. Matter of fact, I'm just going to tell you, as your pastor, I'm very blunt with you. I'm just going to tell you, I don't know if I want all of you just freewheeling it out there and talking, because you might say something that might hurt. You know what I'm talking about? So I really don't speak at the township meeting unless you know for sure it's going to be helpful to Jay and Maggie. I don't want to cause them more grief. And that's all they're asking us to do is show up and support the House of Providence. Once again, House of Providence is building hopefully 3 homes, family-style homes. They're not building an institution. That's a big deal. People think that they're building some kind of big institution. They're not. They're building 3 homes so that orphans, foster children have a home, familiar environment to be raised in. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. We're supporting them in that mission. And so they would like people to go this Thursday. Do you have the times? I don't have the times, brother. 6:30. 6:30 is the time. Thank you, Kathy and Shane. 6:30 is the time at the Oxford meeting, just to show support. And if we do say anything, it just needs to be positive about House of Providence and what their mission is all about, okay? So if you can come, do come. Last thing we want to talk about before I have Pastor Shane come give us all the announcements. Next Sunday is a special Sunday, and that is baptism. We get to offer baptisms frequently. We love doing it in summertime. Summertime, we get to go to a lake. I believe scripturally it looks more authentic if we go outdoors to do our baptisms, because then people might see it. I've always been amazed that we build these wonderful baptistries in our churches, and the only people that see it are the people in the walls. Baptism is a testimony to the world saying, I'm uniting myself with Christ. I am a Christian. I am dead to my old self, risen to new life in Christ. And so I love the baptisms we get to do outdoors. Next Sunday, we'll have our normal worship service here in the morning, and then we're going to go over to Waterstone And actually, it's called Waterstone Lake, from what I'm told. Independence Village in the middle of Waterstone. It's the lake near there. We have a family at our church who's offered us to use their house really close to that lake, and we'll do the baptisms in that lake right after the service. Those of you getting baptized next week, I believe the family said you could use their facilities to change afterward. But it'll be just right after the church service is done. Won't be long. We've got a good number of people, anywhere between 7 and a dozen or something, getting baptized next Sunday. There's still time. If you are saying, I've never been baptized by immersion, and that's something I'm interested in doing, talk to us. We do require that you meet with one of us, Pastor Shane, myself, or an elder, and we want to hear your story, that Christ has saved you. You've asked Him to forgive you of your sins and come into your life as Savior and Lord. If that's happened for you, and you've never been baptized, we'd like to include you next week. All right? Pastor Shane, come up and talk to us about the many opportunities for people here at Oakwood.
Good morning, Oakwood family. I know there might be a little confusion when the House of Providence slide was up. It talked about something coming up, I think, on August 4th. Can you put that up real quick again, Jeff? There's another opportunity coming, and they're looking for volunteer mentors, men and women, to spend time with and build into the women that they are taking care of there. So there are opportunities there as we build this partnership and come alongside of those kids and just love them and build them in their lives. There's going to be opportunities. So Maggie then will be here on Friday, August 4th at 7 o'clock to explain a little bit more about what that looks like. So just want to make sure there wasn't confusion there. We have lots of opportunities. The SOS team was out there a few weeks ago helping them get ready. There'll be many different things that we're doing. So we're meeting this Thursday with the township, but then that's coming up on August 4th too. So I'll be praying about those opportunities, and even if you're just interested, come show up, not committing to anything, come and learn about what that commitment is and how we can come alongside of those girls and bless them too. So real quick, just a few things. There has been a lot going on this summer. We had the ladies here on Thursday night, and God held off the rain. Thankfully, they were able to be here and have a good time. I think I had my wife all dressed up in some sort of garb. She said it was good. It wasn't toilet paper this time. It was some beautiful gown. They dressed her up, and she was walking up and down the runway, and they had some great food and some fellowship, encouragement about just being godly women and wives as well. So they were here. They still have another opportunity coming up. It's this fall, the Ladies' Fall Retreat. And we always have to promote that during the summer because those spots fill up quickly, and the deadline is actually coming up in a couple of weeks, August 13th. So you actually have to be registered and fully paid by the 13th. So we usually have 30, 40 women going to that. Make sure you get your spot signed up. You can do that online or right here in the lobby as well. Guys have plenty of things going on too this Thursday. They're going to the baseball game. Last I heard, I think it says 9 tickets. I think maybe down to 8 or so are left. So that's going up quick. Sign up today. Make sure you get your money in. Be ready to go for that. I think you can bring your money with you, but you still need to sign up and reserve those tickets. It's $15. The camping's coming up in the middle of August for the men, so the 18th through the 20th. Mark your dates down. You can sign up there. Scott has it. Where are you at? He's over there. So he's the guy to talk to you about either of those events. If you have questions or when you get signed up, you'll be out in the lobby afterwards. He'll be out there and get you taken care of. Thank you for that. And then another one we've been talking about is the Stand Strength Team golf outing. This is another one of our local missionary partners that we want to come alongside and bless. We have a small group that started the Stand Foundation, and they're helping to organize a golf outing later this year, August 26th. And they've got room for over 100 golfers, and I talked to Jeff last night. We had like 10 signed up so far. They know there's more people that want to, but people are putting that off, and so we really want to encourage us as a church family, with Stan being one of our partners. If you're around at all, even if you just hack it, you don't play much golf, you can get out there, have fun, grab a few guys, let's get out there and play and support. There'll be meals, prizes, some fun, and a great opportunity to bless one of our missionary partners as well. So we'll be talking about that again over the next couple of weeks, but let's get more people signed up, get the word out in the community too. Maybe we'll invite some people. Have them going on. There's opportunities for whole sponsorships and other things too. So plenty happening there. Joe Robbins and Jeff Moore have been the guys helping out. A couple of them around today too. So if you want more information about that, stop by in the lobby, and we'll continue to promote those over the next few weeks. All right, there's plenty going on. Continue to look through your emails, website, to keep you up to date on what's happening. Let's take a moment to quiet our hearts and pray to the Lord, and we'll get ready for what He has for us today. Heavenly Father, thank you so much. Thanks for the Oakwood family. Thanks for all the missionary partners that you've given us the opportunity to come alongside. Thank you, House of Providence and Stand and all that they're doing to lead people to Christ and to love people to Christ. And glorify you. We pray that you would bless them through some of the upcoming events and opportunities. And Lord, just as they travel, as House of Providence prepares this new facility to move there this year, just continue to bless and pour out your Spirit, provide for them financially and spiritually. And as we look for opportunities to come alongside them as volunteers, participating in events like the Golf Outing, we'll just put it on our hearts to be a blessing to them, to encourage them to work and sacrifice and to continue to allow them to Lord. As we come here together today, Lord, just prepare our hearts. Open us up to be quiet, our hearts and minds right now, all the distractions that may be there, that we can really sense your presence, your Spirit, that we worship you, and we continue to praise and job just in the Lord Jesus. Thank you, God, and just
Please stand, please, to worship and through music this morning.
sometimes His love never runs out on us. We're going to have a seat, if you would. I'll ask the ushers to come forward. We're going to take our offering at this time. It's time for us, as followers of Jesus, as part of the Oakwood family, to just show our trust and faith and love back to God for all the blessings in His life. If you're a guest, feel free to just put your connection card in there. This is an important part of our worship as we continue. We're in a new budget year. You can look at that in the bulletin as well. We're off to a good start, so we appreciate people's generosity. Let's pray and give thanks to God. Heavenly Father, thank you for your blessings in our lives. We thank you for love everyone. And Lord, you demonstrate that to us in so many ways, by blessing us. And we want to bless you and show you that we love you, we trust you, and that everything we have is yours. Those are the gifts that you've given us. So build your kingdom and bring yourself forward. In Jesus' name. I want to just throw it out there too. Appreciate the worship team and everybody that gives their time and effort and energy. Jason is getting ready to switch over from bass guitar over to lead guitar, and he'll be able to use some of his violin skills a little more that way for us too. We are looking for another. We will be able to use another bass.
Come now. They're not going to come.
I don't know about that. Stay tuned for next week, I tell you. But we are looking for another bass guitar player. So any hidden bass guitar talents up there, we'd love to join a great team helping us worship the Lord. We'd love to see you. Thanks.
telling you we're going to have a little fireside chat, and we're at that part of the message today. Just taking a couple of minutes before I get into our fireside chat, just a quick update. I had the opportunity to speak at Skyview Ranch in Ohio on Friday. I got to see lives change. It's always fun for me to be able to get out and speak to a new audience. You guys need a new fresh face every once in a while to look at, and you know what? It's not too bad for me to have fresh faces to look at too. And I was thrilled that Pastor Shane, he is more than capable of preaching and shepherding, and so it's been good for you to have him for the last 2 weeks. But I love being back, and I'm just thankful to see you guys. I'm going to tell you, as your pastor, but I missed one Sunday. I was here the Sunday before to give a quick report, then got away on vacation for a week and missed a Sunday. That's 2 whole weeks. I'm coming back like, man, I miss my family. So I don't know, if y'all miss more than 1 week in a row, what's wrong with y'all? Don't be missing church. Come and join your family and be part of what's happening here. It has a lot to do with what I'm going to preach about this morning. God created us for community. You got to write that down. God created us for community. This whole Christian life thing is not meant to be a Lone Ranger event. You must be in community. So we're glad that you're here today. Not only that report for myself and getting to serve God, but I heard from Shrek this morning. Our stand strength team, I call them our stand. They're not ours. We don't own them, but we love them as if they're our own. And support them as if they're our responsibility. And Shrek had a really unique opportunity this weekend. We met for breakfast Tuesday. He was telling me, he said, Pastor, twice on Friday, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday, I'm speaking to a Muslim community. There's a Muslim church meeting in a mega church in Saints. There's a place in Michigan. I said Dearborn. That's what I thought. He said, no, it's not. It's over Sterling Heights. Thank you. Sterling Heights. And this Muslim church, it's not a Muslim church. It's a Christian church reaching Muslims. They have a pastor from Iraq. Or Iran, one of those two, that's pastoring this church, and the mega church lets them use their facility. He said, Pastor, they're bringing us in twice Friday, twice Saturday, twice Sunday. We're just doing our things. This morning, Shrek is actually preaching a message to this Muslim community about Jesus Christ as the one and only Savior. He told me this morning over 600 people have made commitments already this weekend. Amen to that? Amen to that. Praise God. I want to talk about Oakwood for a second, about us, and thankfully my buddies are here. My 5th and 6th graders stayed in. They're part of the church, and they want to know what's going on. Just quick updates on what's coming this fall. We're all the way past midsummer already, and fall's going to be here before we know it. As we were heading into this summer, there was lots of questions. We had 2 services coming, and there's going to be a lot of need for us to step up as a church and fill those needs. At the same time, we had kind of a blow with Awana, and we're like, can we keep our children's ministry? I want to let you know, it became very clear that men have something outside of Sunday. We have our men's ministry, men and brothers. Women, they meet outside of Sunday, right? They've got their, we'll give you the name again, One Heart. Sorry, Cheryl, I was going to get in big trouble if I got that wrong. One Heart meets outside of church, outside of Sunday morning. And we've got our teens. They meet outside of Sunday. It's called Soul Fire. And you know what? Everybody has something for them outside of church on Sunday morning. We've got small groups that meet outside of Sunday. So everybody has something. Awana is that one thing that we have for our children outside of Sunday morning. We didn't want to lose Awana. I am so glad to announce to you today, we're not losing Awana. Amen? Amen. I'm going to skip all the details, but we have a couple in our church, been here for a long time, a well-rounded leadership couple that we went and asked, can you give us a year to direct and command Awana? While you're doing that, will you raise up the next commander? And that's a good principle, folks. We want new leadership at Oakwood not to be doing it alone, but to always be grooming somebody to be next. We've got to stop plugging in people to fill in holes and then having it collapse. We've got to stop. We need to develop leaders. I am thankful God gave us an associate pastor who's an administrative pastor who breathes developing leadership. That's what he breathes. And I think he's even excited, even though it's a ton of work, that we're at a point at Oakwood where we're focused on developing new leaders. Those of you who've been at Oakwood for years, you might be saying, I don't know if I'm the type of person who can lead a ministry. Well, we'd like to help develop you to that point. Those of you who are new to Oakwood, we'd like a chance to help develop you to new heights of serving and new things that you never thought were even possible. So I'm excited. I'm going to skip names this morning. I'm just going to let that develop as it develops. To let you know we've got a great, solid foundation for the beginning of Awana. founded in the fact that it's going to be developing new leadership as they go, and we need you to step up. Those of you who served in Awana, raise your hand if you've served in Awana. Raise your hand and let us know who you are. Thank goodness. We'd encourage you, consider stepping up again and serving, maybe even stepping up serving in a capacity higher than you were last time. Give more commitment. That meets on Wednesday nights. And I believe we're going to go all the way through middle school this year and not include the high school. But high schoolers, we'd like to see you part of the staff helping run Awana on Wednesday nights. So there's something for everybody to step up and do when it comes to Awana. That's just one announcement I want to give about Awana. I'm so happy that we're not losing that one component for our kids. So guys, whoo, you're still in. You got your thing that's not on Sunday morning for you. Then I want to talk quickly about Sunday mornings. Just the details, the numbers. If you want to write down numbers, you can write down numbers. We're going to 2 services on September 17th. September 17th. Those 2 services will be at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Those services are going to be identical services. We're not doing a traditional service at 9 o'clock and a contemporary service at 11. Some churches do that. I got a good friend in Flint. They do it that way. And that's fine. That's their choice. As a pastor, I just think we all ought to be together. And we don't want people picking and choosing their preferences. I'd rather you all come and get a little bit of what you want and a lot of what you don't. That's called life, people. And we're in it together. Everybody say together. It's not about your preferences. We're one body. One body. And if I can do anything as a pastor, I can teach you about body life. Body life is important. So 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock are our 2 services. What's happening during those 2 services? Well, everything's happening that happens during the normal service. We've got so many ministries. We've got the friendship team that's got to be working at both. The cafe team's got to work at both. Safety and parking. We're going to have the new team helping us park and get out of the parking lot and hopefully avoid insurance claims. And then we've got the worship service takes tech team and video team and screen team, sound team. Those are all going to be working during both services. But you probably want to know, what about the children's ministries? It's been decided, they're working hard on it. We've been working on this for months now. But the child care ministry, I call them ankle biters. I know there's probably a more technical term for it, but the ones that just came out all the way up to what? Kindergarten-ish? That happens over here in our child care facility, and they're going to be working during both services. We're going to fully man for both services, and I'm happy about that. It's going to take a lot more bodies, but we need that. And then Sunshine Park. What's happening in Sunshine Park? Sunshine Park is going to run during both services for kindergarten through 4th grade. And then the 5th and 6th graders, that's only going to be available during the 2nd service, the 11 o'clock service. So parents, be thinking about it. When do we come? What is the best fit for us as a family coming? Is it the 9 o'clock or the 11 o'clock? With that, I want to tell you, what does it mean to sit and serve? I've been using that term, attend one, serve one, for a long time. I need to put more flesh to that, because I think a lot of you are nervous. Pastor, you're going to have us here from 7 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to be exhausted. Well, let me tell you what I mean by sit and serve. We think, I'll stand up and say this. We think everybody coming to Oakwood ought to sit and soak in the Word of God. You ought to sit and soak. You ought to be in the service. And I firmly believe that. I know the elders have affirmed that. We all agree and are on the same page. It's vital that our teenagers, our adults, come and sit in the service. Why? Is it because Pastor Don's an amazing speaker? Not at all. It doesn't matter who stands here. It does matter that this is presented. I guarantee that no matter who stands here, this is going to be what's presented. And that's what we need. Everybody say, that's what I need. You need to be under God's Word, and I'm going to tell you, you also need to be in the community. There's another aspect I've never talked to you about, and that's it's important for you to be in the service, because then you are part of the community. There's things that happen in the service that you hear about. Well, when we gather and we say, Bill lost his mom this week, and I hugged Bill this morning, I hugged Will this morning and said, I'm sorry for your loss. But as a community, you hear things like that. And as a community, we hear it and we gather around. There's more than just the worship and the giving and the preaching. There's a community aspect on Sunday morning. So we want you to have the opportunity to come and sit and soak as well as serve. Now we're going to give you opportunity to serve, and I'm going to break that down for you. What does that mean? Do I have to be here at both services every Sunday? No, we're not asking for that kind of commitment. Some people are making that type of commitment. They're planning on being here, staying for the whole day. That's great. But those are going to be the ones that are making a large commitment, and I'm glad for them. And if you want to step up to that, let us know. But here's what it looks like. Pastor Shane gave me the numbers. We start September 17th and have 2 Sundays of getting used to 2 services, and then we start October. October starts our programming, our organization of 2 services and our volunteers. And Pastor Shane and the elders have been working hard on a grid so that we can see who's serving in all ministries and organize it so that you can serve in your passion points. Maybe you love to serve on the friendship team, but you also want to take a turn in the nursery. We're working so we work together on this. There is opportunity for you to say, I'll work out there in the cafe. And you can work with that team in scheduling, but then we'll find out that you have opportunity maybe then on a different Sunday to serve in the nursery or Sunshine Park. But what we're talking about is a need. Say from October to December, we're doing it in 3-month chunks, our scheduling. In 3 months, we need 204 volunteers to make Sunday morning happen. Everybody say 204. That's a big number. I know you're looking around saying, Pastor, we don't have it. Yes, we've got it. Of course we've got it. God always gives the church what it needs. I believe that to be true. 204 people working during the quarter. Weekly, it takes 56 people volunteering. Everybody say 56. 56 people are giving of their time weekly to serve. Does that mean they serve every week? No. The beauty of the new scheduling idea that we have, the organization grid of scheduling 3 months at a time, when I say sit and serve, you might be 1 Sunday a month coming and sitting in a service and then serving during one. The other 3, you might just come and sit in one service and go home. That's what I mean by sit and serve. You're not committing yourself to sit one service and serve every Sunday. So it's scheduled that way, that you'll be on a schedule, rotating schedule, where you'll serve on one Sunday, and it'll be a big commitment because you'll need to come and you'll be at the 9 o'clock and you'll serve at the 11, or vice versa. But then the other weeks, unless you decide to serve in other ministries, the other weeks, it'll just be like you're doing today. So I want to make sure you understand, we're not asking all of you to come and be here from 7 in the morning till noon. That's not what we're asking. But we are asking for you to step up. I'm not trying to minimize what we need. We need people who are all in. And if you come to me and say, Pastor, I'm all in, I'll do whatever you need. If it's 2 Sundays a month, 3 Sundays, even 4 Sundays a month, I'll sit in one and then I'll serve in one. Praise God for you. Jonathan needed an armor bearer. This church needs armor bearers to hold up their pastors and the elders and the ministries and say, we'll lift you up. We'll strengthen your hand in the Lord. We need those people. But we need you to give what God asked you to give. So I'm asking you to pray. I just want you to simply start praying. It's July still. Would you start praying right now, what can I do to fill in that 204 need for a quarter? That 56 need for every. What can I do? What is God asking me to do? You know, the beauty of some of our tech ministries is they're going to commit to both services. But some of them can do the whole first service, get the second service started, and then leave. They don't have to stay for the whole thing. There's opportunities that you might just not realize we're ready for. You just need to ask. You need to come and get involved. You need to come and say, Pastor, I'm interested in being that bass player. I'm interested in sitting at that computer. Pastor, I'm interested in doing that. What's it going to take? We will plug you in. But you can't, listen to me, I'm all here. You can't just sit there and say, well, maybe they'll come to me. Friends, we've got 500 people or more that call Oakwood their home. We don't know what your interests are. We don't know what your talents are. We don't know what your training is. Every time we find out, we get so excited. So you need to come let us know. You need to come and not sit and just to be on the sidelines. You need to get in the game and say, Pastor, this is what I'm interested in. Pastor Shane, here's what I think I might be able to offer. Tell me, give me more details. Right now, this is what you need next, your next step. Right now, this next week especially, into the 1st of August, Cheryl Bongiorno, Pastor Shane, and others are sitting down and trying to write out a job description for every task that happens. All 204 of those tasks. They're trying to write out what that is, what it looks like, so that you can come and say, I'm interested in what's happening down in Sunshine Park, but I don't know if I can be a teacher. Well, there's other jobs down there. You don't have to be the teacher. And so we can show you, here's the things that are happening. Maybe you can fill in this need. So we want to give you those details, but you're going to need to step up. Does that sound good? Everybody say yes, PD. Yes, even if you don't mean yes, PD, just go ahead and say it. Everybody say yes, PD. Yes, PD. Woo! Pastor Shane, thank you. That's Pastor Shane's notes to me for this morning. It's a big need. I'm confident, Pastor Shane sweats, But we are confident that God is going to provide, and God is going to do something. I keep telling them, don't worry. God's people are going to step up. God's people will step up. Sometimes you just need to know there's a big need. Friends, let me tell you, there's a big need. We want to make sure that we have an opportunity for many people to hear about Jesus. In order to do that, it takes 56 people working behind the scenes to make a Sunday morning happen. 56. You know what? We need that. We need you to step up and be part of it. And we want you to do one thing. I'll close with this, and then we'll pray over it. Jeff, would you be willing to come up and pray over this? Our lead elder, who's now off the elder board, taking his sabbatical, he's going to pray us through this whole thing. But as he comes, I want to give you this. Everybody say, that's me. Everybody say, that's me.
That's me.
Everybody needs to be a part of this one thing. You need to start thinking about who isn't at Oakwood that I can invite to come. Who isn't here? Maybe you have friends or co-workers or classmates, people that don't have a church home of their own. All of us need to spend this August, early September, being invited. And we are doing something special on September 17th. We're launching a new sermon series specifically for the launch of 2 services. We're going to step out of the Gospel Project for a season, and we're going to do something that's very practical that people can say, I need that. And we're going to study the book of James. Oh, I love the book of James. It's going to be called Pressure Points. Life is full of pressure and overwhelmness. And so there will be something that you can take a flyer and hand to people and say, hey, our church is talking about overwhelming life and stressful life stuff and the issues that we go through. Come and hear about it from the Bible, the book of James. And we hope that both services we could fill with people to hear about Jesus and what his word has for us. There's a lot there, friends. Thank you for giving me the time. Jeff, would you pray us into 2 services?
Well, I was just going to
Got him live, pray.
I was just going to lean over to Bill, my brother here, Bill. Sorry. Boy, it must be a busy year for the elders. I'm glad I'm not on that board. Let's take a moment and pray for what's coming for Oakwood. Heavenly Father, we just call on you. This is your church. God, we don't hand this over to you, Lord, because it's been your church from the beginning, starting with Pastor Bob and his team. But God, there are changes happening, and Lord, you're moving. And Lord, we don't want to be a group that just thinks we can take this mountain on our own, God. We call on you to guide the elders, guide the pastors, help us to put this into motion the way you would have it to go, Lord. We pray that you bless Oakwood with the people that are willing to step up and rise up, even people who have never taken that step to say, now count me in. I'm ready to take this on and give me a task. Lord, I pray that you work in the hearts of the people, that we can all join together and say, yes, we're going to make this happen. This is something that God has called me to. Lord, move in our hearts. I do pray an anointing, Lord, on our pastors, Pastor Don and Pastor Shane, as they take this new task on. God, there's a lot that we don't know, we admit that. But we pray that you give us wisdom and discernment and we pray that for our pastors. Help them to see what they need to see, Lord. Our team of elders, God, bless them, God. Help them to be united and work together and understand what it is, Lord, that you have them doing in this big task. So, Lord, as we grow and as you move in this community and reach people in your name, we pray that we can just be a part of it and that Oakwood can see massive growth and the kingdom of God would see growth and that our community would be reached, Lord. And not that we want to take any credit, Lord. We don't want Oakwood to be a great name. We want the name of Jesus to be great in our community.
Appreciate Jeff's time on the board and leading the board. And now we've got Jim Moncherno, who's our new lead elder, and he's doing a great job of keeping up and handling a lot of work. It has been a lot of work. We've been meeting a lot of days. And just keep us in prayer, but start praying yourself about what it means from this fall and give other people an opportunity to come and worship you. Well, let's pray together these words. Would you pray, God, if there's anything you want me to hear this morning, I'm willing to listen. Would you give that prayer to God? Don't have to say it out loud. Just, if there's anything you want me to hear, I'm willing to listen. And God, may you be glorified. May these people be edified. May Satan be horrified in Jesus' name. This morning, We're continuing the series. Still a little jealous that Pastor Shane got to talk about David and Goliath, one of my favorite stories. I love that story of how David, nothing special about this young boy except for that he was faithful and that the power of God was on him. And it's an amazing thing what happened in his life. We're picking up that story, still in our series, God the King, in our gospel series, and we're in the book of 1 Samuel. Today we're talking about Christian camaraderie. Everybody say camaraderie. Camaraderie. Is that how you say it, or is that how Southern people say it? I think you Northerners call it camaraderie, right? No? Camaraderie. Don't you tell me. She doesn't. So, camaraderie. That's what I think. Camaraderie. Christian camaraderie. Well, why did I choose that word? Well, we need friendship. And there's something about the word camaraderie that strengthens that word friendship. It's a closeness, knitness of togetherness that we're going to be talking about this morning. Christian camaraderie fortifies faith. I need true friendship. Everybody say that with me. 1, 2, 3. I need true friendship. And I must be a true friend. Say that with me. 1, 2, 3. I must be a true friend. As we get ready to talk about 1 Samuel, especially the 23 through 15 through 18, I couldn't start this service without a video like this to set the stage for friendship.
You're my favorite deputy.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Come on, let's sprinkle up the camp.
When you roll up, rub my head in your miles and miles through your nice warm bed.
Sprinkle up, Campbell.
Just remember what your old pal said, boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Hey, Campbell.
Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, big and strong too.
Come on, Woody.
Maybe none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's me and you, boy, and as the years go by, a friendship will never die. You gon' see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me.
Right.
Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Score.
You got a friend in me.
What do you think?
Oh, this is great.
Okay, birthday boy.
Sorry, we're not showing the whole movie. I know, so we gotta do this. We'll give service on friendship. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running just to see you again. Sing it with me. You guys know the song. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend. That's friendship without James Taylor, right? You've got a friend. And in the Toy Story series, you've got a friend in me. Yet I find it interesting, most movies, there's something about relationship there. There's something about a special camaraderie in most movies and in most songs about life. There's about love and friendship. And yet, we are starved as a nation, we are starved as a world for true friendship. You ask many people if they have a close, dear friend, most people say, no, nobody really close. Nobody really knows me. The word intimacy, you can define by the word, the phrase, in, to me, see. Intimacy. Intimacy. Yet most people don't have anybody in their life that they're willing to open up to and be real with. This morning, Leslie Schiller came in. I said, how you doing, Leslie? And she said, fine, great, I'm lying. And I'm like, Leslie, you're right. We lie at church. We do. Who'd admit you've done something like that? You come in and said, I'm fine, but you're not. We lie at church. You know, and I love the fact that she was willing just to be vulnerable for a second. And that's a good thing about social media. There's a lot of negative things we can say, but at least on social media we can follow what's happening. And we're praying for you. I know Julie and I have been gone for a couple weeks, and we've been praying. We've been watching stuff going on and praying for the needs in your life. And oh, we need people that care. We need people that look into us, see who we really are, and don't run away. There was a newspaper that once did a contest for a definition of friendship. And they had all these entries, but the one that they chose as the best definition of friendship is that person, when everybody else runs out, it's that person that runs in. Do you have that person in your life? Do you have friendship in your life that is life-changing? We need friendship. And this is the first point. It should be the first point. Sorry, it's point number 1. It shouldn't be point 1. It's just a mega point. It's coming up. I want to give you this verse real quick. 1 Samuel 23:16 is our key verse. Saul's son Jonathan went to David at Horesh, helped him find strength in God. He was the kind of friend that ran in when other people might have been running out. David had a friend in Jonathan, a strange friend, one that you wouldn't imagine would be a friend that went beyond his own needs to be a real friend to David. So the first point, which shouldn't be the first point, it should be the mega point of the whole thing, is Christian camaraderie is my need. Everybody say need. If you're filling out notes, write that in there. We need friends. First thing we've got to do today is admit it. We have a need. Everyone has that need. There's nobody in here that should be able to say, no, I'm good. I'm good, Pastor. I don't need anybody. You might say that, but oh, you do need friends. Not just a friend in name, but you need a person that comes running in when everybody else is running out. You need a person, intimacy, that looks and sees you and says, I know what's not perfect about you, but I still love you. And I'm going to be there for you. We all need that. Everyone truly needs that. So the first point this morning is really the mega narrative point. I need Christian camaraderie. Hebrews, before we get into 1 Samuel, let's turn to Hebrews 3, 12 to 14. There's a lot of passages. I went through so many passages thinking about what can be a passage that I bring this out. I chose this one. Hebrews 3, the author says, take care, brothers, lest any of you an evil, unbelieving heart leading you to fall away from the living God. But exhort one another every day, as long as it's called today, that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. For we have come to share in Christ. Everybody say, share in Christ. We have come to share in Christ. If indeed we hold our original confidence firm to the end. We have come to share in Christ. We need each other. We need each other. The church is a great place to have community. It's no mistake that we keep talking about family. We want Oakwood to be a true family, a true community, a true camaraderie of friendship, where people know you, see into you, and still love you for who you are. The Bible lays it out all the time that that's needed. That's needed because sometimes we need to step up and encourage one another and care for one another. Sometimes we need to step up and correct one another. We need to be true friends that aren't afraid to say the hard thing at times and say, no, you're wrong about that. We need people at Oakwood to encourage people not to fall away. Some have fallen away. The Bible says some have gone. They're no longer with us because they were never really part of us. That breaks my heart when anybody would ever leave Oakwood. It would break my heart because how did it break down? Well, it breaks down always in this capacity of friendship and camaraderie. This is where it breaks down. There's hurt relationships, hurt feelings. And that's part of being in a family, I want to say. But we need to be a part of a family that corrects one another and encourages and equips one another, develops leadership in one another. That's the kind of community and camaraderie we would like to be at Oakwood. But I just need you to understand and go ahead and comply to the fact we need friends. You don't have to say it out loud right now, but in your heart, say the words, whisper, I need friends. I need friends. And I need to be a friend. If you're struggling with that, if you're stumbling over those words, then you're not with me. You've missed the mega narrative, and none of the rest of it's going to make much sense to you. Until you can break down and say, I am not all alone on my own, everything that God has intended me to be, I've been created for community, then you're going to struggle with this message. We have a picture in Scripture through Jonathan and David that talks about friendship. I've been working on this, developing this. There's lots of versions of this. I didn't like any of them completely, so I kind of created my own. Some of you have been in professional counseling, have seen this kind of a circle-targeted thing used for other things, but I'm talking about circle of friends. I want you to think about who are my friends. And please don't bring me your Facebook friend list. Y'all know that that's not your real friends, right? My kids tell me that all the time. Dad, you don't have that many friends. As a pastor, youth pastor, and then some of you travel the world speaking for 5 years, I've got friends. I'm just going to tell you, this is sort of bragging. I've got 2,500 friends on Facebook. Ooh, everybody say, ooh. And my children tell me all the time, Dad, you don't have that many friends. They're not your friends. And they're right. Your Facebook friends is not your friends list. So let's look at what it means when we talk about circle of friends. There's that core, that center. That's what I want to get to today, is who's your core. Who is the people that is at the very nearest intimacy level of your life? Those are your core friends. Everybody say core. Then there's a community. The outer circle is a bigger, and that's going to be your church. Everybody say your church. I believe they're the next circle out. Not all of them can be your core friends. Some people get upset and leave a church because they say, well, the people weren't friendly enough. They weren't my friends. Not everybody here is going to be in your core circle. That's a small circle of friends. That's probably 1, 2, maybe 3 people that are in your core circle. But then the church can be your community. You can have friends and acquaintances in there that mean something in your life. And then there's the crowd. Everybody say crowd. That's your Facebook friends. That's the whole universe outside. That's everybody you know, kind of like you have acquaintance with. That's the crowd. I want to make sure we look at these 3 areas of friendship so you can be thinking about this friendship issue in your own life. See, the crowd circle, that should be your circle of concern. And I hope that those people that you might be your Facebook friends or whatever they might be that aren't really in a close circle, they're not even really in your daily, weekly community, that crowd, I hope they're your circle of concern. You're actually commissioned to reach them. We ought to be thinking about them as people we want to reach with the love of Jesus. That's everybody else. They're your concern circle. And then the community circle, a little closer, that's your care circle. Well, I hope at Oakwood you're experiencing care in the community. Care in the community. Do you have that? If not, I'm going to tell you, it's here. It is available. I've always learned this from my mama. My mama always says, to have friends, you've got to be a friend. Hey, good, your mama said the same thing. My mama probably told your mama. To have friends, you've got to be a friend. My mom would always tell me, you collect more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. Be a friend. And it breaks my heart when people say, I can't find the connection to Oakwood. I'd ask a couple of questions. Peering questions. Number 1, have you thought about joining a small group? Community is available, but you have to also make a step. I encourage you. If you haven't, maybe you don't have the time. If you don't have the time, you can't fit that into your life. I feel badly because community at Oakwood is so important, and you can find it in small groups. Community is important. There's care that happens there. Then there's this core thing. It's change. Everybody say change. See, at the core friendship level, the people there have the power to change your life. And then those people, you're probably close enough, but you have the power to change their lives. So I'm going to admit as a pastor, pastors are usually islands to themselves. And it's hard at a church. Some of you would wish that Pastor Shane or myself would be your friends. But we can't be everybody's core friend. We just can't. I'm not saying this to get out of any work, but there's no way anybody can be 400, 500 people's core friends. We can't. At the best, we hope we're at least in your community of friends. I hope that's true. But pastors tend to be islands, and we don't have many friends. I enjoy my time with Shrek. On Tuesday mornings, we get to have breakfast. We've had some similar experience traveling on the road and speaking and ministering, and so we get each other. We can connect. We can challenge one another. We can confront one another. He's bigger than me, but I still love that. Yeah, he usually wins, but I appreciate that. But I don't have a lot of that in my life. My core friends are people I hardly ever see. Cliff Washburn came to worship for us. Remember that? I get Cliff whenever I can. Because Cliff's in my core group. Cliff was there in my life when I came to college. He was a college student a couple years ahead of me. And I came to that college as a messed up, alcohol-abusing drug guy. And I just wanted to party at college. It was a Christian college, but I just wanted to party. I got there, and Cliff had already made up his mind that he was going to step into my life. And as a Christian college student, he did. He just took me in. And from that moment on, there was a bond. Cliff and I have a bond that we don't need to talk every month or every quarter even. We can talk once or twice a year, but there's a bond there that's very special. Brotherly camaraderie. Cliff was there at a pivotal point in my life, and I still to this day say it was Cliff and Wayne are two of the most pivotal people that got me from a mess to following Jesus. I'm forever going to be indebted for that. But you know what? I was there when my friend Cliff fell. After I got my life right with Christ at school and I started serving God and going into ministry, my friend Cliff took a turn and he went south. And I had to stand and watch him do terrible things with his life, make terrible mistakes. And you know what? I was there to reach a hand down and pull my brother back up. See, he was there for me, and then I was there for him, and God uses that core friendship to change us. So this morning, as I speak about friendship, I don't want it to be too broad. This morning I'm talking about who is your core friend. Parents, it's a great thing. School's about ready to start. Not too long. Sorry, kids, I just said that. School's about ready to start again. Parents, you need to be talking about with your kids. Who are your core friends? You might have lots of friends. You might have a community of friends, and we want to make sure those are good people in your life. But you also have a crowd group in your life, and that's good. We want to have godly concern for those that need Jesus. You've got to have that crowd around you too. We're not trying to insulate you and isolate you from the world. Concern, but when we get it down closer, who is your core friends? Parents, be talking about it with your students, because who your friends are is who you will become. Change, everybody say change. So who's your core friends? Adults, we like to speak it to our teenagers, but it's just as important for you. Who would you say is in your core circle of friends? Intimacy level that sees in and challenges you. This morning we're going to see it in the life of Jonathan and David. Let's look at 1 Samuel 18 before we get to the key passage. 1 Samuel 18, let's look at what's coming. 1 Samuel 18, 1 through 3. Christian camaraderie requires my commitment. As soon as he had finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David. I love that phraseology. The soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day and would not let him return to his father's house. Then Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as his own soul. Well, the first thing this morning when we look at friendship, you need to see that a friendship like that, a core friendship, is going to require commitment. Everybody say commitment. What does it mean, commitment? What? And it's not always maybe the people you think need to be in that core circle. Can you imagine any other odd friendship than Jonathan and David? Remember what Pastor Shane taught you about David being anointed king? While Saul was king, God anointed David as king. David killed Goliath. David ended up leading the army of Israel. He started growing in fame, and guess what happened? Saul got jealous. Saul wants to kill David. That's the problem with the king. Remember back a couple weeks ago? You don't want a king. Yes, we want a king. You don't want a king. Yes, we want a king. No, you don't want a king. Yes, we want a king. Everybody else has a king. Fine, then we give you a king. God gave them Saul. Here's the problem with kings. Kings kill people. Kings don't get their way. They kill people. It's now they've got David, anointed by God, growing in fame. The Bible says that everybody loved David, except Saul. Jonathan loves David. Saul's daughter Micah loves David. We're not talking about that. But the Bible says this only time in Scripture, you can check this out. Just go check this out. I want to make sure I'm right about this. The only time in Scripture that it talks about a woman in love with a man is Micah loving David. Interesting. The Bible says Israel loved David. He was growing in fame with everybody but the king. The king wanted him dead. Why? Because the king wants to hold on to power. This is why it's so odd that Jonathan becomes David's core friend. Jonathan is next in line to be king. Jonathan is the king's son. This guy ought to be as mad as Saul. Because Saul's probably getting older and he's only going to be king for a while. But we're talking about my whole future here. Jonathan should be saying, I've got a kingship coming. I'm going to be king for all this. But no, this is coming along and he's getting... I hate him like my dad hates him. I hate him more than my dad hates him. That would be normal. But God does abnormal things. Who's going to be David's friend? The very one who's supposed to be king next. usually leave out this part. I'm going to read on. Let me read on. Verse 4. Jonathan stripped himself of his robe that was on him and gave it to David, and his armor, even his sword and his bow and his belt. And David went out and was successful wherever Saul sent him. So Saul sent him over the men of war. And this was good in the sight of all the people and also in the sight of Saul's servants. The servants loved him. Jonathan loved him. Micah loved him. Israel loved him. Saul wants to kill him. But we usually leave that part out about Jonathan taking off his clothes because people actually turn this into some kind of a weird, ungodly relationship. Friends, can I tell you, there's nothing further from the truth in Scripture that there was something wicked between Jonathan and David. That's all I'm going to say about that. It is wrong that people bring this up. You don't understand the importance of what Jonathan did. People read that he took off his clothes and gave them to David and there's something weird going on. No, you know what was going on? Here's next king. Next king. And he says, I'm giving it up. I love you so much. I'm going to take off my kingly robe. And it's yours, David. I'm going to take off my kingly armor and give it to you. My belt, my sword, it's yours because I am yours. I am knit together in soul. That's a commitment. Everybody say commitment. That's camaraderie. Camaraderie is going to require a commitment. It was Jackie Robinson, I believe, black baseball player for the Oakwood Dodgers. During that time, racism was rampant, even in sports. And as Jackie grew in fame, so did the jeers and the yells and the inappropriate name calling. And even in Brooklyn, his home stadium, it got to a height that in one game in particular, the crowd was just saying racial things, shouting racial things. And Jackie Robinson was playing second base at the time. And it was awful. It got so ugly that Jackie was visibly disturbed. But thank God for Pee Wee Reese. Pee Wee Reese was a white shortstop for the same team. And as they're standing out in the field, Pee Wee Reese is that shortstop. He looks over and sees Jackie hanging his head as the crowd, his own fans, yelling, calling him racial slurs. And Pee Wee Reese said, time out. And he went over to second base, and he just stood there, and he put his arm around Jackie Robinson for what seemed like an eternity. Never said a word, but his action was a commitment to show camaraderie. He was letting every Brooklyn Dodger fan know, don't call him names. He's our guy. He's my guy. I'm with him. Everybody say, with him. Are you with anybody in life? You have a core friend? Is anybody with you? It takes commitment. Second thing I see in this relationship between Jonathan and David, let's look at 1 Samuel 19. 1 Samuel 19, verses 1 through 7. Camaraderie demands selfless sacrifice. 1 through 7. Saul spoke to Jonathan his son and to all his servants that they should kill David. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, Saul my father seeks to kill you. Therefore be on your guard in the morning. Stay in a secret place and hide yourself. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are. I will speak to my father about you. And if I learn anything, I will tell you. And Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father and said to him, let not the king sin against his servant David, because he's not sinned against you. And because his deeds have brought good to you. For he took his life in his hands, and he struck down the Philistine. And the Lord worked a great salvation for all Israel. You saw it and rejoiced. Why then would you sin against innocent blood by killing David without a cause? And Saul listened to the voice of Jonathan, and Saul swore, as the Lord lives, he shall not be put to death. Jonathan called David, and Jonathan reported to him all these things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as before. That's a friend. That's a friend who comes running in when everybody else goes running out. Saul had already decided, I want to kill this David. He's going to come and take my throne. He's going to steal the throne from my son. I want to kill this. Saul has already put a bounty on David's head. He told everybody, go kill that kid. Kill him. So what does Jonathan do? Jonathan says, David, don't fret. I've got your back. I'm going to go talk to my dad about this. Christian camaraderie demands selfless sacrifice. That's what I love about the story of friendship. It requires commitment, but it also requires sacrifice. If you want to be a friend, a real true friend, then you're going to have to commit to it. And you're going to have to sacrifice for it. It's going to cost you something. If it costs you nothing, it's probably not core camaraderie. If the friendships you have cost you nothing, that's not what we're talking about this morning. What has Jonathan done so far? He's made a commitment. Before God, he made a vow to David to be his friend. He committed to it. He sacrificed for it. He gave up his kingly robe. He gave up the throne. He wasn't holding on to anything for himself. That's true friendship, friends. I hope you see him. He stripped himself for the betterment of his friend. Sacrifice. Lastly, Christian camaraderie fortifies my faith as I fortify faith in others. Let's look at 1 Samuel, key passage for today. 1 Samuel 23, 15 through 18. David saw that Saul had come out to seek his life. Well, I guess that peace treaty didn't last very long now, did it? Saul said, as long as the Lord lives, I won't put me out right. He gets mad again. He's off the charts. He's going after David again. When David saw that Saul had come out to seek his life, David was in the wilderness of Ziph at Horesh. And Jonathan, Saul's son, rose and went to David at Horesh and strengthened his hand in God. And he said to him, do not fear, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find you. You shall be king over Israel, and I shall be next to you. Saul my father also knows it. And the two of them made a covenant before the Lord. David remained at Horesh, and Jonathan went home. My friend. Here's what that core group does. Eyeballs here as we close. That core group of friendship that we all need is very vital to our life. Needs to be Christian camaraderie. I'm here to tell you this morning, I'm not going to mince words. That core group of friends ought to be saved people in your life. Because if not, they're not going to have the same values. It's the same concept of marriage. We don't unequally yoke. You can't be yoked together. The oxen put together by a wood frame, pulling together. Let me tell you, it's as important in friendship as it is in your marriage. You've got to be equally yoked. You need to pull together through life. Are your core friends Christian camaraderie friends? I'm not telling you not to have other friends. I'm begging you to have other friends. You need a community. You need a concern of a crowd that you need to be going after. You need all of that in your life, but you've got to have the core. And David, King David, slaying giants, needed a friend. This is the lowest point of David's life. I don't know for sure. Might have to do some history research, but there's a psalm. I think it's called Psalm 23. You probably heard it. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. It might be right now when David's writing this. There's probably no other point in his life where it's as low as David thinking, this guy's going to kill me. The king wants my life. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? God strengthened him through a friend. Everybody say a friend. Jonathan. Jonathan came, and our key verse today was verse 16. Let's read it one more time. Verse 16. Jonathan came. Saul's son arose and went to David at Horesh and strengthened his hand in God. We fortify. I use the word fortify because I like that. We fortify the strength in others, the faith in others, but we also need others to fortify our strength. Do you have people in your life that are building you up in Christ? And to make sure this isn't a selfish venture, are you in someone else's life building them up? We used to call this guardrails. You need guardrails in your life, but you should be a guardrail in someone else's life. That's what Cliff was. When I showed up to college living a mess of a life, I was about ready to take my life over the edge, over the cliff. Oh, there was a cliff before I hit the cliff. And that cliff was an actual guardrail. I needed a guardrail. God put Cliff in my life to be that guardrail. At the moment, I was going to tank it. And God put Cliff there. And Cliff was committed. That was a beautiful thing. You know, guardrails get messed up, right? They get smashed into. You know, I told you this before, but kids, when you get your license, you're going to have a wreck. I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell you right now. Your dad's over there and you don't let him listen. Cole, when you drive, you're going to crash your car in your first year of driving. But don't go home and say, Dad, it wasn't my fault. I was just driving and the guardrail jumped up and slapped me. Your dad's not going to believe that lie. Guardrails never jump up and slap people. Hello, church. Core friends, don't attack people. And we think that's what it means to have accountability. Accountability is so messed up in the church. You need an accountability partner, somebody that can beat you up all the time. Oh, yeah, I really want that. No, you need guardrails. You need guardrails in your life. Guardrails don't slap you. Guardrails simply stand firm. And they say, I'm going to help you be who you say you want to be in God. And then after Cliff was a guardrail in my life, I became a guardrail in his. And he went to take his life, and I stood there and said, no, buddy, I'm not going to watch you take. And I was there when Cliff gave his life back to Christ. Both of us pastors of churches now. Why? Friendship! Camaraderie! Do you have a friend in your life? It requires commitment. Everybody say commitment. It requires self-sacrifice. Everybody say self-sacrifice. And it fortifies you. Everybody say fortifies. I want to show you my favorite clip. I can't show this enough. I can show this every Sunday. I love this. Favorite clip of the movie of all time. Would you show that, please? And we came home and we had zucchini. But what I want to show you is this, because I know that Chris is like, that's it, PD? No, that's not it. Check this out! Check that out! Now that's the zucchini. And it came from our garden. This came from my garden. In the garden, things can grow. That zucchini came out of my garden too, and I have no idea why it's that size, or I have no idea why this was this size. You know, it's a lot like church. Friends, I'm not a genius, but I look out and I don't understand why in the garden of community of Oakwood, some people are struggling and not getting what they need, while others are flourishing. If I knew the recipe and could help all of them eat incredible zucchini, I would do it. But I do want to tell you this morning. In the garden is where it grows. In the garden. So I'm going to tell you this morning, we're watering, we're weeding, we're doing everything we can. We're trying to keep the critters out. We're trying to do everything we can in your spiritual walk. We are. Oakwood elders, leaders care for you. At some point, I think it has to be your choice. Am I going to commit to being someone's friend? Am I going to commit and self-sacrifice in somebody's life? Am I going to join a group of people and be their core? It becomes your choice. I can't make you have it. Although I want you to have it, I can't force you to have it. But I can tell you this. If you want it, it's here. Amen, Oakwood people? If you want it, it's here. And if you need to talk to us about it, come talk to us about it. We'll try to help you the best we can. Dan, would you come with us? Close us out. I am a friend of God. As they come, I got to tell you, the neatest part of this whole message is this. What a picture of what Jesus is to us. Did you catch the little clips of Jesus there? Real friendship requires commitment. God sent His Son, His only Son. He committed His Son to us. It was a commitment for friendship. And not only that, do you know that Jesus Christ stripped Himself of His kingly robes to come here? Did you catch that this morning? Do you realize that Jesus Christ did the move that Jonathan did when he said, you know what, I'm living here in heaven. I created all these things. I'm comfortable, happy. But you know what, I'm going to strip myself of my kingly robes. I'm going to give it all away to come and be one of you. That's what Jonathan did. He sacrificed. That's why we can sing a song like this to go home with today. God calls us His friend. Everybody say friend. And He shows us that what Jonathan showed us, it's always true. It's going to require a commitment, it's going to require self-sacrifice, and it's going to strengthen us. I pray that you have a relationship with Jesus. If you've not, I want you to know He's done everything to become your friend. He's committed to you. He's sacrificed for you. He'll strengthen you. All you need to do is say, God, I'm in. Cross that line of faith and say, God, I know I'm a sinner. Please forgive me of my sin and come into my life. Save you. And then, the Bible says He no longer calls us enemies, but He calls us friends. Bow your heads with me. Can I just ask, is there anybody here this morning who's never asked God to become their friend? They've never asked them to be forgiven of sins. If you're here today and you've never asked Christ to forgive you your sins, come into your life as Savior and Lord, then you can do it today. Is there anybody here that would raise their hand and say, PD, that's me, I need that friendship, I need that today? Would you raise your hand and say, PD, I need that today? Yes. Anybody else and say, Jesus, save me. And talk to God. Talk to God. He's done everything to be your friend. So ask Him to forgive you of your sins. Come in your life as Savior and Lord. And then we're all going to stand. Amen? All of us, let's stand and say, I am a friend of God.
Bye.